Hello, my name is Akash and I'm a volunteer here at the National Museum, Delhi. We are today standing in front of the museum's Buddhist art gallery. National Museum galleries begin in a chronological sequence from the Harappan civilization till the late medieval galleries, and from there the Buddhist and other thematic galleries begin. This gallery houses objects from all over the subcontinent, and places such as Gandhar, Mathura, Sarnath, Nagarjunakonda, Bengal, Ladakh, Arunachal Pradesh, and even distant places such as Cambodia and Java stand for this diversity. Once born as Prince Siddhartha, the Buddha went on to revolutionize the world of religions. His principles were interpreted over and over again, and this gave rise to the many different forms of Buddhism as we see them today. The stupas and chaityas were one of the first places of conglomerative worship, and with them developed the art of sculpting. When Buddhism traveled far and wide, it was absorbed in the local traditions, developing even more diversity. In the centers following the sponsorship of Ashoka, the great Mauryan emperor, we find as many as 18 different schools, and Theravada, Mahayana and Vajrayana are only a few of them. So come, let's explore this diversity. This 8th century Pala sculpture is that of Siddhaikavira. Siddhaikavira is a form of Manjushri, who is the Bodhisattva of wisdom and enlightenment. The full-blown lotus or Nilotpala in his left hand and his right hand in the Varada Mudra or the gesture of grants are his usual attributes. Siddhaikavira here can be seen standing on a lotus and also can be seen wearing a necklace and a Yajñopavita which runs from his left shoulder to his right thigh. Siddhaikavira is also believed to have emanated from the Dhyani Buddha Akshobhya, which is why Akshobhya can be seen depicted in his Jata Mukutta or the matted hair crown. Butter lamps are a common feature of the Tibetan and Himalayan shrines. These lamps are traditionally lit by yak butter. Chunga Choipa or the Butter Lamp Festival in Tibet is celebrated by lighting hundreds of such lamps to commemorate the victory of the Buddha against heretics in a religious debate. This ceremonial lamp bears the Ashtamangalas or the 8 important signs of auspiciousness. These signs are the Chhatra or a parasol, Matsya or a pair of fishes, Srivatsa or a conch, Dhwaja or a banner, Kalash or a vase, Padma or a lotus, and the Dharma Chakra or the wheel of Dharma. This 2nd century Kushan sculpture is of Maitreya. Maitreya is one of the 8 great Bodhisattvas who is believed to be the future Buddha, who currently resides in the Tushita heaven and will descend on earth to preach Dharma once it fades away. Maitreya is shown here wearing a princely headdress with heavy earrings, necklaces, armbands, and the sacred thread with amulet cases. He holds a kamandalu or a jar of water in his left hand, while his right hand, now broken, would have been placed in the Abhaya Mudra or the gesture of fearlessness and reassurance. This 12th century sculpture of the crowned Buddha, exclusive to the Pala art, is an unconventional portrayal of the great monk in the royal ornaments and a regal crown. This is most likely to have been a portrayal of the Buddha in an exclusive sect as the Chakravartin or the universal conqueror of all sins and desires. In this sculpture, the Buddha is shown wearing a highly embellished crown, a necklace, and karnakundalas or earrings, contrasting his monastic robes. Around him are depicted 7 of the 8 most important scenes from his life, and these together are called as Ashta Mahapratiharyas. The 7 scenes are the birth at Lumbini, the descent at Sankashya from the Tushita heaven, the miracle at Shravasti, the Mahaparinirvana at Kushinagara, the first sermon at Sarnath, the subjugation of the elephant Nalagiri at Rajagraha, and the gift of honey at Vaishali. The most important exhibits in this gallery are the relics of the Buddha. These relics were found from a mound at Piprahaba. Piprahaba is a modern-day city in Uttar Pradesh, which is identified with the ancient city of Kapilavastu. Kapilavastu, in Buddhist traditions, is also believed to be the hometown of Siddhartha. The golden Thai pavilion within which these relics are enshrined was given to the National Museum as a gift by the Thai government in the year 1997. This 5th century Sarnath plaque shows some of the most important scenes from the life of the Buddha. Beginning from the bottom left, one can see Queen Maya's auspicious dream, in which she sees a white elephant entering her womb, following which she gives birth to Siddhartha. In the next scene, Siddhartha can be seen riding on a horse, which stands for his renunciation of his luxuries, as is also indicated by a scene in which he cuts off his hair. In the next scene, he sits for meditation, and after days of meditation, he attains enlightenment, as seen in the next scene where he calls the Mother Earth to witness his enlightenment, following which he gives out sermons preaching his principles of dharma, as indicated by the Dharma Chakra below him. The representation of the divine has always been in man's own image, thereby making the images of the deity humanized with extra-human characteristics that stand for their divinity. So when the Buddha images were made in the Gandhara region, the subject was indigenous, but the execution was Hellenistic, owing to the local cultures. Similarly, when the images of the Buddha were made in Southeast Asia, the local iconographical features were adapted in the process. This showcase holds the images of the Buddha from this region. A Buddhist shrine houses the images or representations of the Buddha's enlightened body and speech, which remind the worshippers to develop these qualities in them, reduce mental afflictions, and benefit all living beings. This showcase displays objects from many of these shrines found in North and Northeastern India, where Buddhism is a dominant religion. This is one of the earliest examples of the Kushan Buddha sculptures developed in the Mathura school. He is seated on the lion throne in the classical yogic posture with the Dharma Chakra icons on his feet. His right hand facing sideways displays the Abhaya Mudra, or the gesture of fearlessness and reassurance, and the left placed on the knee. In such early representations, his hair is characteristically short and is gathered in a spiral cone at the top of his head. His sanghati, or the monastic robes, are rolled up on his left arm and fall from the shoulder. He is flanked by 2 attending deities on the sides and a pair of flying celestials over the scalloped halo. The sculpture bears inscriptions in the typical Brahmi of the Kushan period. Of the 2 schools of art developed during the Kushanas, the Mathura school is characterized by the use of red spotted sandstone, thin transparent drapery, and curlier hair. This is a decorative pediment from the Gandhara school of art, which shows the story of the conversion of Jatilas. Once the Buddha visited the eldest of the Kashyapa brothers, Urvela Kashyapa, at his hermitage on the banks of the river Nairanjana. Kashyapa's dislike towards him made him grant the Buddha shelter for the night at the kitchen haunted by a fierce serpent. Nevertheless, the Buddha tamed the obstinate serpent, which coiled up peacefully in his alms bowl. The following day, when Kashyapa sees this, he surrenders unto the Buddha with his hundreds of disciples. Listening to this, the other two brothers, Nadi Kashyapa and Gaya Kashyapa, also join the Sangha with their disciples.